Hi, my name is Cristiam and welcome to this video for the English for Teaching Purposes course. Today I'm going to talk about the B1 English level, which is part of the Common European Framework of Reference for Languages. This video is to show what a student at B1 level can do and share an activity that works well in this stage. Now, the Common European Framework for Reference levels are helpful because they tell us what type of skills we should focus on each level. Knowing this helps students and teachers to work together to set clear goals to know how to improve the language. Now, let's know a little bit more about the B1 English level that we are going to focus on. Now, B1 is called the intermediate level, and here students can do more than the beginners. But we have to know that they are still learning, right? At this level, you can manage most situations in everyday life, like talking to people when you travel or dealing with things at work or in your school. One common example could be that if you are at B1, you can understand the main ideas when someone speaks clearly about familiar topics. Could be hobbies or the travels. You can talk about experience. You can describe things that happen to you and give some reasons for your opinions. It does mean that while B1 learners can have a good conversation on simple topics, they might still work with more complex ideas or detailed discussions. This is the level where students start to become more confident in using English for real life situations. We talk about travels when you travel to another country or in war situations, right? Now we are going to pass to what we can do in every one of the four skills at this level. It is writing, listening, speaking, and reading. Now, let's talk about the four language skills that are reading, writing, speaking, and listening. I will explain what B1 learners can do in each one of them. Starting with reading, at B1 level, students can read and understand simple texts like news, articles, emails, or brochures about familiar topics. For example, they can read an article about their favorite hobby or instruction for use a new app or game. But no longer on more difficult tests might still be hard to understand, especially if there is a lot of new vocabulary for them. Continue with writing. B1 students can write short, simple texts, like emails or short stories about familiar topics. They can connect ideas in sentences, but they might make some grammar mistakes. For example, they could write about their weekend, their plans, to describe an event that they went to, like a concert, to write a card for a friend, and wherever. It's important for B1 students to practice writing to improve their grammar and the way that they connect ideas. To make a review, you can make a review for a structure of every one of tenses to implementing your writing in practice, right? Let's continue talking about one of the most important skills at B1 level, that is spoken productions. In this level, students can have conversation about familiar topics. Could be their family, their hobbies, or their work. They can explain their opinions, but might sometimes need extra time to think of the right words to use in their conversations. For example, a B1 student could talk about what they did last weekend or explain why they like a certain kind of music to use in with friends, to use in their work, or to use in the school. Now, to make a review of the last skill, that is listening, B1 students can understand the main points of a conversation if the person is speaking clearly and in a slowly way. They can follow conversation about everyday things like ordering food at a restaurant or talking about weekend plans or even understand the conversation in going to buy something in a mall center. However, if people talk too fast or with some strong accent, it might be harder to understand in this English listening level. Now, let me show you an example of an activity that works well for B1 learners. The activity I've been chosen is an speaking activity called the Hot Seat Debate. The Hot Seat Debate is an activity where students work in pairs or in small groups, and each group is given a topic to debate. The topic should be familiar, but also allow for some opinions or discussion between the students. For example, for this exercise, you can use the topic like should students wear uniform? Or another example of a topic could be is technology making people more social or less social? How is going to be the dynamic of this activity? Every student is going to take a position on the topic, either for or against. Their partner will take the opposite positions, and each student has 2 minutes to present their arguments, and then they switch. After both students have presented their opinions, they have a short discussion when they try to defend their position and respond to the other person's points. The objective of this activity is to get students comfortable with expressing their opinions, organizing their thoughts, and defending their arguments in English. At the B1 level, it's important to practice fluency and the ability to think on your feet while speaking. This activity helps to those exercises to build those skills in a fun and interactive way. To wrap this up, I'd like to give you some advices for anyone trying to improve their English at B1 level. First, practice consistently. Whether it is through reading, writing, listening, or speaking, the key to improvement is regular exposure to the language. Don't just stick on one skill. Try to balance your practice across the four areas. Another advice is to be afraid to make mistakes. This is a natural part of learning, and be conscious that the most you practice, you will become more confident. And the last advice is to try to immerse yourself in the language as much as possible. Try to watch English movies with or without subtitles, to listen English music or podcasts, and most importantly, to use English in real conversations wherever you can. Remember that learning English is a valuable skill that will open up new opportunities for travel, to work, and personal growth. So keep practicing, stay motivated, and you will continue to improve.